It is crazy that like with Trump dropping the ball on so many of the things that he promised, that Democrats haven't been able to like pick up steam.
Well,
what is that?
But yo, we've said that. We said this a million times. Yes, we know Trump is going to fumble, but the Democrats don't have the team to pick up the fucking ball.
But why is that? And it seems that like people are, I don't know, maybe they're angry. I don't know. There's just like a lot of...
I got thoughts. I got plenty of thoughts on that. I've said it a million times. I think because they haven't acknowledged the big lie yet.
Yeah.
Well, now Kamala has done it in her book, 107 Days. The Original Sin did it. Corinne Jean-Pierre got a book coming out. Mm-hmm. But more Democrats have to acknowledge the big lie.
No, they can't.
Throw that old regime under the bus. And literally, it needs to be blown up.
Bro, like, the amount of people, let me tell you how like, what is it when you're not willing to reflect? You're just, when you ignore your problems, what is that word?
Not having any mirrors? I don't know.
Yeah, like, no, but literally it's like, oh God, I can't believe I'm forgetting this word. But the lack of like self-reflection or
self-awareness?
Yeah, self-awareness, or like you just not facing your problems.
Accountability?
You're ignoring, the lack of accountability or whatever it is. Basically, the amount of like DMs or like tweets or whatever I'll get, right? About people that literally think that like me, Joe Rogan, and Theo Vaughn are responsible for Trump becoming president, that don't think that the fact that Democrats ran a dead guy and then a woman that couldn't talk had anything to do with it. Just shows that they're not willing to be in reality. Like all these people are just like, let's ignore what's happening in our house and let's point blame, let's scapegoat, let's find out what's going on in the world. It's like you ran a dead guy that we all knew were dead. You gaslit us into thinking that he wasn't. And now you're writing books about how he was. And then you ran a very unpopular candidate that said she was going to do all the same things as the dead guy.
You ran the running mate of one of the most unpopular presidents ever. And you gave her 107 days to do it when her approval ratings was lower than him. So not only does she have to dig herself up out of that grave, she got to do some allow me to reintroduce myself shit. And that's impossible to do in 107 days. That's why I genuinely enjoyed her book, man. I enjoyed her book because there was accountability there. I've seen people say it's a book full of excuses. It is.
Yeah.
But like, who doesn't have excuses when they lose, right? And by the way, I wouldn't even call them excuses so much as to say...
Does she acknowledge not coming on the pods?
Yes.
That's another revision.
She has a whole chapter about Joe Rogan, and she said people completely fucked that up. She actually said, and hold on, let me make sure I'm getting that right. She actually said it was Rogan's team that was not being honest about that situation.
Yeah, I bet.
Let me make sure.
I mean, I know for a fact her team has lied about us, like 100% fact.
Yeah, she said she wanted to appear on Rogan's podcast on October 25th, 2024, but he chose to interview Donald Trump instead. She alleges that Rogan later made false claims that her campaign had placed restrictions on topics for the interview. In late 2024, Harris' campaign made an offer for a 1-hour offsite interview in D.C., but Rogan insisted on an open-ended in-studio conversation in Austin, which her team rejected. Age suggested that some of her more progressive advisors were concerned about the optics of an appearance on Rogan's podcast, given his history of controversial remarks. She talks about all of this in the book.
But it's just so like, it's just so interesting that like the revisionist history is that like Trump wins because he comes on these comedians' podcasts.
As opposed to the other side just being bad.
Though the other side was also invited onto. Like, how are we responsible for their bad decisions?
You're going to be talking about this till the day you die.
Who is me?
Yes.
Why?
Because it's actually a moment in time, whether we realize it or not. You don't realize it till you like, damn, this isn't a book.
Yeah.
Like you read these things, they're in books. Like we're part of history.
Correct.
Like whether you want to be or not.
It's similar to 1960 in a way.
I wasn't there, Chris. What happened?
Neither was I.
What happened?
But I've read about it in books.
Okay, talk to me.
So there was a technological shift in 1960. The debate between Kennedy and Nixon was the first presidential debate that was ever televised. Mm-hmm. So coming into it, Kennedy was young and vibrant and energized, and Nixon was old. Compounding that, he like hit his knee against his car door.
Oh God!
He had an injured knee, and he was like sweating and like freaking out. And that's, in retrospect, what people say shifted the election, because the technology had changed. People had never had a chance to see the candidates before, and there was such a stark contrast. And I think with podcasting and the shift in media, for this election, it's the same thing where there's this shift happening in one space, and then the politics kind of dovetails into it, and
Chris
you have a big change.
right.
Chris is absolutely right. Can I bring up something about this? Which is, I'll tie it back in. Okay. There's no young like movie stars right now. There's no young like action stars.
Well, Timothy Chalamet.
Chalamet.
I would say he's a movie star, but he's not like a he's not young
not box office yet.
No. I'm not being critical of Timmy. Like obviously he's very successful and he's talented, but like outside of like Timothy, it's like who is the young Tom Cruise? Like when we were growing up, there were all these guys. There was Bruce Willis. There was like 20 different young actors that were like.
It's not Timothy.
No, he's one. But I'm saying got you. He's one. Like, and I don't even know.
I would have to ask my daughter. Like, she'd be into those.
Because there were only a limited amount of platforms when we were growing up.
Well, yes. But I also think what happened is, I think that Hollywood kind of ignored what was happening. I think what happens is less people were going to movies. Hollywood got scared. They started putting the same stars that they know could draw in movies. Like Tom Cruise is still doing Mission Impossible, right? Like, he's 70 years old. Like, he's still hanging off of planes. He's 7. Like, they haven't gotten the 50-year-old version of that. Like, the 30, the 20. Like, so I think what Hollywood did is they started to freak out and they started, okay, let's keep on putting Indiana Jones in movies. Let's keep on doing the folks that are watching.
They were trying to play it safe.
They're trying to play it safe because the budgets are $200 million, et cetera. And then what happened is the next crop of young entertainers don't end up going into Hollywood. They end up streaming. They're Kai, right? Yeah. They're Drewski. Yeah. There's a bunch of comedians like myself. Like now we're going into movies, but like we're basically the younger crop of entertainers that if this was 30 years ago, you don't think Kai or Drewski would be in every single movie? They would. They would be Eddie Murphy. They would be Jim Carrey. I think back in the day.
The reason why I say I don't know, because none of those motherfuckers in Hollywood have ever shown us that they know real raw talent.
No, well,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm saying
like you really had to take your hand. You had to be the bird that take your hand off the wing. You had to be the bird that takes your wing off your asshole
told that
and go in these studios ass first. Ass first, mouth open. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it a coincidence that all of these guys that you named, right? A lot of these Hollywood types have all of these rumors?
No.
If you understand what I'm saying, where did those rumors come from?
I don't know.
Huh? Were they naturally born that way? Or did they become that way because of opportunity? My point is, the Kais, the Drewskis, the Hughes, I don't know if Hollywood ever sees y'all, bro. But no, I'm being honest.
No, 100% Hollywood is just starting to see comedy, right? They're just starting to see comedians. They don't even know streaming exists. Like the fact that this movie is happening with them is massive. But if Kevin Hart doesn't go, I want to do this movie.
That's right.
That's not happening. And he's a major movie star, right? It's Kevin's ability to recognize what was actually happening, where the youth is, where the kids are. Like, think about podcasting. Like, Kamala thought that it was in her best interest to not go on the biggest platforms on the planet.
I do think Kamala did a combination of both, but she did miss big platforms like Rogan, like Flagrant. But I think that she did what you should do, because we live in a world now where you just have to be in front of as many eyeballs as possible.
Sure.
And like I did a upfront for Nielsen this week, and I think what Nielsen is doing is dope now, because all of this stuff is going to account for ratings now. Like when it's not just people listening to radio, it's podcasts, it's all social media. Like everything is combined now. I'm giving you the
behind the scenes.
Yeah, the not educated technical version of it, right?
Right.
But that's what you have to do. I think she did a good job of that. You should go on The View, but then you should go do All the Smoke, right?
Yeah.
You should go on Stephen Colbert, but you should also go do Flagrant.
She did a bunch of pods.
She did.
Right? It was just
Trump didn't do that because he didn't have to. He's been campaigning for 10 years. I don't need to go on your mainstream platforms. I can go on all of these podcasts, and you got to talk about me anyway.
But he did go on a bunch of them. He did.
No, he didn't do no mainstream stuff.
He didn't.
Outside of Fox, other than that, it was strictly podcasts. He didn't do none of the late night shows, none of the daytime television, nothing.
But it's not like he went on Pod Save America.
Yeah, that's true.
That would have been
that would have been great.
He didn't ran circles around him.
I guess.
He ran circles, and I love the Pod Save America guy, but he ran circles around him.
Yeah,
he just would have.
I don't know. I guess what I'm saying is like, Hollywood's late to recognize like what the youth was doing, but back in the day there wasn't an opportunity to stream and do shit online, so all these young talented people would gravitate towards TV and towards movies, so they would probably end up being there. And I think it's in Hollywood's best interest to really recognize what all the young folks are doing, because that's where the eyeballs are.
Yeah.
Like if you want people to go see your movies, if you want young people to see your movies, you have to put the young people that they're invested in those movies.
But somebody like Kai is interesting though, right? Because even what Kai is doing is not TV or film. He's just introducing the world to him. And as we're looking at him, we're like, man, that guy got a lot of personality.
Yeah.
Man, he might be good in a movie. He might be good in a sitcom. That his approach wouldn't be the same if he had to come up 30 years ago and go out there and audition. We might not get that version of Kai. Same with you.
No.
We don't get raw Andrew Schultz if Andrew got to come out with slick
100%.
back hair and a black leather jacket and I want to audition as the Fonz and you know what I'm saying? Like we don't get
You're right.
you.
100%.
So you know, the era that we're in calls for
Authenticity,
yeah, right?
100%.
Like that's not what the era back 30, 40 years did. You had to be polished and clean. Like that's not what the world wants no more. And that's what Democrats keep fucking up. That's where Kamala Harris, even now, she writes this great book. And for her, to me, it's raw. Because I'm like, this is, yes, finally you telling just a little bit of truth, just enough truth to rattle everybody, to make everybody take a wing and put it around their butthole, right? Just in case you really try to go fuck us, right? But then you do the interviews, and it's not that.
I know.
Rachel Maddow, you get pressed a little bit, you're like, no, that's not what I meant. Like, no, stand on it. You was right when you said you couldn't have chosen Pete as a running mate.
Yeah. Why did she kind of fold on that? That was weird.
I think because Rachel Maddow is a part of the LGBTQ community. And it just was a little bit of, and I don't know if Kamala was trying, even when you read the book, what she's saying is true, but it's not her personal feeling. You understand what I'm saying? Like if I say, hey, we can't choose this guy as a running mate, man, because he's a gay man. I'm already a black woman with a Jewish husband. That's tough enough. I'm just looking at it from a strategy perspective. I'm looking at it from strictly politics, right? But people will say, that means you're homophobic. No, it doesn't. This is business. This ain't got nothing to do with what I personally think. I'm telling you, America's not ready for this. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, Chris. Do you?
No, and I think that's something Trump does well, is he does what he has to do, explains why he does it, doesn't try to...
Or doesn't explain.
Or doesn't explain.
He doesn't apologize.
Doesn't apologize. I mean, I would say...
I would have loved to hear Ta-Nehisi and Ezra had that conversation, because I know that they would agree with Kamala on that.
But just to circle back to the what's wrong with the Democrats convo, I don't think it's because they haven't acknowledged the original sin. I mean, you said they have to throw Biden under the bus. Biden's already under the bus. You'd have to get his body, pull it out of the bus, and then throw it in front of the bus again.
It got to be a public.
That's over.
It gotta be public. No, it got to be public, Chris.
To me,
public.
To me, and this got brought up. I think Andrew said at the very beginning of the show. It's the fractured nature of the left right now. The left is eating itself alive.
They've always done that, though.
I know, but it's heightened right now.
And
it's Gaza. It's identity politics. Like.
It's Gaza, it's identity politics, and it's the anger of losing.
Right.
And feeling like the people in power are trying to strip you and your friends of your rights and your dignity. And they genuinely believe...
they're not wrong. But
they genuinely believe that. So I understand that heightened sense of defensiveness is not going to lead to a more accepting, welcoming coalition. The problem is you kind of need that. You need an accepting, welcoming coalition. You got to bring back people that left you because they felt ostracized.
Yeah.
You have to if you actually want to win. But I think a lot of these people don't want to win, to what Charlamagne was saying. They just want to be right. They want to go and make a TikTok video pointing fingers at everybody that disagrees with it, that they disagree with, so that they can get a bunch of comments, a bunch of likes. And it's like, all right, well, then you're not a serious guy.
Well, that's always been the case. I mean, you had Abby Hoffman and the far, far radical left, similar to, I mean, I think what we're going through now, the closest, analogy is the late 60s, early 70s in America. Those guys hated the mainstream Democratic Party, right? But they had a limited platform in the sense that even though they made a lot of noise, it only traveled so far. Now, someone can say, well, you sold out to the corporate Democrats or the mainstream Democrats and you're abandoning, and it gets amplified that it seems like that person is representing a larger, portion of the party than they probably do. But then it keeps building and building and building. And, people are going to have to figure out how to You know, it's like if you're working on something creative, you have a scene you like. Sometimes you got to give up stuff you love, you know, to make the entire piece work. You know,
Like
I love
President Biden. Yes,
He's-
Democrats
Not
gotta
anymore.
give him up. Maybe Bill Clinton.
Well, I can
You
only
got to
only
do some
speak for myself.
sacrifices.
That was a fear-based decision.
Listen, you know Republicans do that Democrats don't do, and I saw this, and I think it's genius. J.D. Vance said, "Yeah, you know the economy isn't where we need it to be. Yeah, inflation and all of that stuff is up, but it's the Democrats' fault." Why didn't they ever do that when they got back in the White House? Why didn't they talk about all the stimulus checks
They
that
did.
caused inflation?
They did. That's what I'm talking
Democrats
about.
did not do
Of course
that.
they did.
No, Biden did it.
He did it. Well, I heard when J.D. Vance did it, it resonated and it cut through. When Biden didn't, it didn't.
Obama did it.
Obama.
Like he did it.
I'm just saying, when they inherited the bad economy they got from Trump.
But I hate the finger pointing. I don't like it when either side does it.
No,
Like,
it's politics. Schulz, you have to do it.
I know.
Yeah, it's not like you're on the football field lined up with the person and you can just, go head to head with them.
Yeah.
This is how you take out your opponent. They do a better job of constantly making Democrats look like a problem. Right now, government shutdown. Who do some people think is responsible for the government shutdown? Democrats. Why? Because Republicans got the bully pulpit and they're saying it. And we know that's not the case. They have all the power.
Yeah.
They're in control of every single thing. Who's the Democrat with the loudest megaphone able to say that? Jasmine Crockett. And she not as loud as conservative media. So now what do? Yo, they just had a meeting 2 days ago. This is crazy to me. They had a meeting, Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump, with all the generals, a public meeting that we all watched, where they are sitting there trying to get these generals to pledge their loyalty to them, and nobody thinks that's strange.
One
What do you
person
mean?
does.
We read enough books to know what that is, right?
Wait. What do you mean? Like they are loyal to him. He's the commander in chief.
No. They should be loyal to the Constitution.
No.
They should be loyal to the United States of America.
No.
You can't be loyal to a man when a man is telling you, I want you to go out there and wage war on your own citizens.
I'm sorry, Charlamagne. You're off on this. I mean, I disagree with waging war on your own citizens.
but that's what he said.
But he is the commander in chief. Like he is in control of
In a war
the
against a
military.
foreign power.
Yes.
No, he is in control of the Army. He is in control of the Navy, in control of the Air Force. That is his role. If we're talking about the role of the president here, I don't think that there's anybody that would refute that. That is his job, and that is part of his job, and that is his position.
But you need people that are willing to push back. Because what if
Yeah.
What if we have an authoritarian regime in the White House that is saying, hey, I want y'all to start interfering when people are peacefully protesting. I want y'all to start interfering at the ballot box to make sure that these people can't vote. I want you to start removing people that are my political opposition from office.
Yeah. This is
At some point, a general or admiral got to be like, whoa.
Those
now,
things are horrible, but the general admirals do not have the authority to reject the wishes of the president, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I don't
like
believe
they're
that.
not
Is that true, Chris? I don't know.
Yeah, they're not an independent body, because if they were, then you wouldn't be able to go to what
Well, hold on. To your point.
Congress can restrict what the president can do in terms
But
of
only
like
Congress can declare war, I believe.
exactly, and that's
So
why we've had all
shouldn't-
these conflicts.
But shouldn't then, by that stance, only Congress could tell the Army to start enforcing against U.S.
It's
citizens
on US
on U.S.
If you're
soil?
going to war against them, sure.
And Trump said, if you don't want to do what we want you to do, then you got to go. So when you're trying to build your own military that is loyal to you and not the Constitution in the country, what are we building? Now we Germany. Now we the Soviet Union under Stalin. Now we fucking Saddam Hussein in Iraq. Like, what are we doing, America?
I hear that. And don't get me wrong, I definitely hear like the totalitarian.
I agree with Pete on
authoritarian-
the fat admirals and generals, though.
Yeah, I mean, we're not.
Yeah, I
doing
don't
that.
want no fat admirals and
No
generals.
fat-
That's the one thing Pete Hegseth said.
And
that I'm
there's
like, you know
one
what?
standard. It's not a men's and women's standard. It's just one
You
standard.
can't have the strongest military in the world and not look the part, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, no.
Napoleon was a little chunky.
Yeah, but he wasn't fighting.
These guys aren't fighting.
I mean, you want them to, I guess.
I don't know, man. I just think that there's a lot of things that are going on in America that are not normal. And if you just read a little bit, I'm not the smartest person in the world. I'm not the highest grade of weed in the dispensary. But if you just read a little bit in light of history throughout the world, you can see how this can easily happen in America. And it's happening. Like nobody, they literally had a meeting and nobody, it's just like okay.
What? So it's you're allowed to meet with your generals. This is not like
this was different, man. You had to go watch it. You got to go watch it and listen to what they're basically asking them to do. Like, why do you want to send the military into Portland?
So here's the thing. Obviously, they're doing this for like political reasons.
Why? No, they're in power.
The question that I have about this, and I mean this genuinely, if people feel unsafe in their cities and their local governments are not doing anything about that, do you think that they are upset at Trump doing this? Or do you think that they're happy about it?
It depends who you ask. Like, there's people in D.C. that you can talk to, and they're like, as a matter of fact, you even got to talk to the people in D.C. Go talk to some of the military personnel that's in D.C. They'll tell you, I don't know what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Forget what people are saying. Go talk to them. I've spoken to some of them. They don't know what they're doing in D.C. They're like, why are we guarding this restaurant downtown? You know what I'm saying? Why do we need to go into Portland? Like,
no, I hear that.
And Mamdani wins?
Yeah.
Woo!
No, I think
they're going to be marching up and down the streets in New York City.
I think the opposite. I think that if Mamdani wins, Trump is going to hope that the city burns so that he can use it as a political
No. I agree with you. But there's going to be some strategic chaos.
Yeah. Sure.
He already said, I'm cutting the federal budget in New York.
Which is horrible.
They're going to put the military here. You wasn't here last week when the Secret Service was stopping everybody and making you get out your car and putting the dogs and... Oh, because where we're at the radio station, that's right there where the UN meeting was at.
Oh, because the UN was.
Oh, that shit was crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, it was. I mean, it was the weirdest thing about that though. Secret Service, y'all never search us. You make us get out the car, and you run the dogs and everything, and you go into the hood and you go into Trump, but you don't search us, the people. Like
that is weird.
I thought that was strange. Maybe I don't know if it was. Of course, there was a couple that's like, "Oh, Charlamagne, what's up?" So maybe it was me. I don't know, but I just thought it was weird that I don't even at least get a pat down. You're not gonna let the dog sniff my butt, my balls, and that. You know what I'm saying? I just thought that was a little strange.
That is a little weird.
It's a little strange.
Yeah.
If I went through the Secret Service checkpoint a couple of times, I'm like, oh, they just searching the car, so I just keep whatever I got on me. That's what I would be thinking if I was
100%
a criminal.
Yeah.
But. I don't know, man. I just think it's some strange times, bro.